Hello and welcome or welcome back to Astrology with Jo. I'm obviously Jo. It's great to have you here. Thank you for coming in and joining me in this exploration of the wonderful Leo full moon that we have occurring on the 2nd of February at 9 past 9 in the morning, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So fix your time up if you aren't on daylight savings time. This full moon is at 13 degrees of Leo, opposing the sun, of course, at 13 degrees of Aquarius, where we also have an intense lineup of planets all putting Luna under pressure and making for quite the vivacious lunation. If you'd like to hear the full version of this full moon analysis with the tarot reading at the end, as well as a fascinating study on the asteroids involved in this full moon, we have Artemis, goddess of the wild, and her brother Apollo, god of the sun, working in insanely synchronistic ways with this full moon. It's very exciting. Then you can head over to my Patreon. The link is in my YouTube profile bio. It's just patreon.com/astrolojo. And you can either make a one-time purchase of this reading for just $11 or become a member for $22 per month to have unlimited access to all my offerings. This is optional, of course. So if you're happy with the bulk of this reading, then all you have to do is just keep on listening here. As per usual, let's just go over what the full moon physically is and the symbology of how it manifests. So the full moon, it's the midpoint, the climax, the apex of the lunar cycle. The moon's face is reflecting the light of the opposing sun to create that full orb that we see. So this is a time of illumination, revelation, culmination, fruition, and also a releasing. So the polar energies that we have are the sun, which is the yang, the intellect, the ego consciousness, beaming its light onto the moon, which is the star of the show and represents the yin, so your emotional and subconscious world. So sun equals spirit, beaming its light onto the moon, which equals soul or soul consciousness or window to the soul, whichever you prefer. So it's the yin which is illuminated. So it's the emotions, your inner private life and needs, your sense of home and belonging, safety and vulnerability, well-being, and even your body, your raw instinctive nature, and of course your unconscious realms, which are really being brought up to the fore here, bubbling up to the surface. So this is a very heightened peak time of all of those things, powerful emotions, expressivity, sensitivity, things coming into the light, coming into conscious awareness from the unconscious. This is high energy with the potential to really connect to all of these wonderful lunar things that I've outlined. Humans tend to feel the moon cycle more strongly than the other planets, as she's obviously a lot closer to us. And we're also given the opportunity here at the full moon to release, to shed, like purging something out, sweating something out, or flicking the switch on a pressure valve if we so choose at a full moon. Because after this full moon, the moon then begins the second phase of the second half of her cycle, and she reduces in size in a time of integration and consolidation until we get to that dark moon, the new moon, to begin this whole cycle anew. Now, our next new moon following this full moon in Leo in 2 weeks is going to be a solar eclipse, and it's a doozy. So it'll be important to be very aware and mindful of the things coming up at this full moon, because even though this full moon isn't actually the matching eclipse lunation because it's not an eclipse, it is still matching that new moon eclipse by sign. So that same axis is going to be activated and the same themes are likely to be evoked or continued. So I like to call this lunation, the Leo full moon at the start of the year, the fire moon, because it's occurring during peak summer in Australia and she's hot. And also because, of course, Leo is a quintessential fire sign of magnetism and creation and does like to be at the peak as well. I mean, Leo is king of the jungle after all. So what are the main themes arising at this Leo full moon? Well, Leo is colorful, heartfelt, enthusiastic, playful, sunny at best. Leo is the leader, the regent, the icon, influential, and it usually has a mask to wear when it embodies those particular things. But Leo is also about your inner authentic essence, your conscious knowing of who you are. Leo is ruled by the sun, and everyone knows that their sun sign is meant to be who they are in essence. I take issue with sun sign astrology, but that's a whole other rant for another time. the point is that selfhood and your inner flame are key factors of the Leo expression, as is expression itself. So this is going to be a very, very dramatically expressive time, because not only is it expression coming from the full moon, but Leo is also a very expressive energy as well. Now, Leo is creative. It wants to reproduce itself by creating, whether that's performance or art or making children. That's why we speak of Leo as being a representation of the inner child as well, tapping into that innocence and sense of play and wonder. Leo rules the heart, both metaphysically and physically in medical astrology. The heart wants to love, the heart wants to share. Leo is generous, warm, loyal, protective. It wants to create from the heart, live from the heart. Leo people and strong sun people can be rainbow people. They can be glittery, gold, glitzy, dramatic people. Leo teaches about your vitality and the expression of that vitality. So it's your life force, just as the sun is the earth's life force. So there is no life without heart, just as there is no life on earth without the light and the warmth. So this full moon is going to be showing us about what it is that pumps you through life, like your heart pumps blood through the body and keeps you going. What is that steady beat which is maintaining you as a person, and how are you connected to that? Now, this full moon is in the sun's sign. So the moon is not particularly in her element here, and she's also therefore being ruled by the sun, which is opposing her, of course, to make this full moon. And the sun also has a lot of support there in Aquarius with a lineup of planets there. I'll get to that in the next slide. But the big issues that I think are going to be coming up here is that the moon wants to feel validated, appreciated, seen and recognized, given recognition, just as much as it does want to give and share and inspire and express. So this could be a seesaw of the needs of the self versus the requirements of the external. So there is then a call to be brave here, be bold, find your courage and strength and self-confidence to move through what you need to move through, potentially face what you need to face, and to motivate your own inner flame. And you could be feeling a strong urge to take the lead, fire up from your passions, be bold and brave, maybe even take a risk and put yourself first, put yourself out there to create, express, feel love, feel joy. But this urge towards happiness, creativity, play, selfhood, all those Leo things, it's being met by an oppositional lineup here. Because for all that this lunation is in the regal, vital fire sign of Leo, our main element in the lunation chart is in fact air, specifically coming from the mass lineup in the opposing sign of Aquarius. We have Pluto, Australia, Mars, Vesta, Sun, Venus, Mercury, all lined up in Aquarius. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if you include the important asteroid Diana that I'm going to talk about in the extended version of this reading, who's conjunct Pluto and Australia. So 8, that's a lot, like a lot of planets in a line. Even when you take out the asteroids, we're left with 5 of the major planets, and that's still a very heavy influence. And we don't get this all of the time. Not only that, but this Leo moon is as well being ruled by that sun in Aquarius, remember, with all of these Aquarius placements surrounding it. Leo is strong, Leo is brave, but coming from the back foot to face up as 1 against 8, it's not very good odds. So we do have this Leo moon exactly conjunct on the same degree as asteroid Apollo, multifaceted, gifted, intelligent, potent, talented. I'm going to anatomize him a little bit more in the full version of this reading. And Apollo does give a little bit more oomph and support to this embattled moon, but even though the limelight, focus, and force are aimed at this full moon, which in Leo certainly doesn't mind the attention at all, especially conjunct Golden Boy Apollo. I mean, Leo can be a bit of a show pony, me. But I can't help but see that on a mundane worldly level, that the public, the group, humanity, the needs of the self and individuals as represented by the moon here in Leo, because in mundane astrology, the moon represents the populace. This is all in opposition to the actions, focus, values, and the broadcasts in effect and provided by the world systems around us. So this is the rights and the needs of the one versus the dispersonal system that oneself is in. So this may well be in terms of politics, political regimes, because Aquarius rules politics. Aquarius also rules the people, the populace, paradoxically. So there's a blending of needs and requirements here that's really getting a balancing out through some type of confrontational showdown. This is probably also going to be around how freedom, Aquarius, and expression with Leo is felt and how it is controlled. Just going to say it, AI is probably going to be a theme around this time, as well as the following solar eclipse in 2 weeks in Aquarius. And this will certainly have something to do with technology for sure, because there's just so much Aquarius here. So just you wait and see what unfolds at the actual solar eclipse in 2 weeks. I do see polarization between the group versus the individual, technology versus creativity. I do see some kind of dictatorial energy, whether within you or in your life in some way, or on the world stage, that is trying to regulate, control, be in charge of something. And there's just that opposing urge to break free from that reign, to express authentically from the heart in a way that isn't egotistical, but founded in joy. There's definitely a lot of ego around here with that sun strongly reinforced in mental, intellectual Aquarius, as well as that solar moon in the one-person act center stage shouting, what about me? Look at me, follow me, pay attention to me. This can be the breaking free, or this may be about what you're breaking away from to be more of yourself. Or it could be about those big or bossy egos coming under some strain. That could be what you're breaking away from. Authority will be questioned. The rights of the individual are going to be brought to the fore. I mean, Leo does rule regions, monarchies, monarchs, as well as famous people, actors. So people in charge and people in the limelight, essentially. So it's the stories of those people which are likely to become prominent around this time as well. Monarchies, the entertainment industry, etc. Now, on a more archetypal level, you can use this oppositional energy to connect your emotions, moon, to your heart, Leo, and then your heart to your head with that sun in Aquarius. Aquarius loves the system, and this multi-step system can really work for the Aquarian to wrap their energy around. Bridge the gap between any emotional disconnect that you have and really attempt to try and connect your heart and your head here. That's what this balancing out is going to be all about. So any internal systems that you have, any fixed mentalities and ideals, they're going to be coming up against what you're actually feeling in your heart, against what you actually need to feel joy and to feel sovereign, which might not actually be aligning with your ideals or the groups and ideals that you're a part of. So let's just have a quick rundown of the other Aquarius planets that are in orb of facing down this Leo moon in opposition. We've got Mars at 7 degrees of Aquarius, so we could be feeling quite emotionally triggered, oversensitive, maybe even oversensitive to being told what to do. There could be some conflict or tension around wanting to act and not feeling safe enough to do so. Maybe not feeling safe enough to express those emotions. There could be some anger around this. Vesta in Aquarius is being dedicated to ideals, focused on the objective goals, the greater good, the wider systems. So this opposition to that very personal light of the moon indicates that you may not feel like your heart is aligned with what you're actually dedicating yourself to, or there could be some kind of a realignment around that. Maybe there's some tension around doing what you want rather than what you feel like you're obligated to do. Venus here, she's at 19 degrees. Venus is probably showing you what you desire for the long term, what you're aspiring to that feeds your sense of abundance and supports your well-being. But maybe it just feels a bit far away at this time. Maybe resources are scarce, and that could be where some tension is coming up. And Mercury here at 21 degrees is just saying that communicating well is very important here because there's a possibility of either miscommunication or poor communication, or maybe a possibility for words that hurt or words that are sharp or cold, because Aquarius is very detached. So maybe this is the message then to try and add a little bit of feeling and heart to the way that you're communicating. There's a very highly strung mental frizz around with this massive, massive Aquarius influence. The nervous system may feel heightened, your mind may feel a buzz. The polarity of Leo Aquarius here is about putting that ego and intellect aside when it is not serving your well-being physically and emotionally. The moon is your needs, and the moon is what is highlighted here, even though she's outweighed. So put your body first, put your needs first. This could be the radical act, putting yourself first is a very leonine thing to do. And there is support here for that, even though at the same time there is some opposition to that. Contrarily, if you or anyone around you is egocentric in a dysfunctional way, like self-absorbed, narcissistic, this is also going to be brought to consciousness here, and it's no longer going to fly. It's exposed. It's brought to the surface to be shed. And again, Leo can be about masks. And the Leo full moon here, because it's an illumination, there can be an unmasking of something or someone, or else there could be an instinct to go beneath the mask. The moon, after all, is what is inside. There's just another aspect configuration that I do want to touch on before I go into the asteroids and tarot, which you're getting if you're in my Patreon. This is our old friend, the Yod, two quincunxes joined at the base by a sextile, making an isosceles triangle. So the moon is at the tippy top of this Yod, meaning that she's the one that this Yod is focusing on, as if the illumination of the full moon wasn't enough already. Now, that Yod is a 150-degree aspect. It has to do with creative potential, but through discomfort and friction. It's like being uncomfortable with something and still doing it or sitting in it anyway. And through that, creative possibilities are generated. Now, the Leo Aquarius axis is already highly creative. So Leo is creative expression. Aquarius is the creative, innovative mind. This Yod then is just adding to this creative potential in a way that causes a bit of edginess, but it does also have that generative force behind it. So this is like enjoying the phenomenon of the rainbow, even though you don't like the rain. This is about feeling wonder and creating from that, even though your circumstances may not be ideal. Now, the players that we have involved here quincunxing this moon, we have the North Node in Pisces at 9 degrees and Juno in Capricorn at 12 degrees. Now, if Juno weren't so exact, I probably wouldn't be calling this an operational Yod, but she's there, and so are we. So we have discomfort between that heart alignment, that inner essence, what you know is truly you, what lights you up and makes you feel at home within yourself. Discomfort between that and what you know is calling you forward, potentially into the unknown, something that doesn't yet have form or structure. There's a tension between that Pisces energy of acceptance and trust, but also that strong Aquarian influence that needs to know what's going on. And that Juno in Capricorn needs the hard data to make something with here. We might not have that here. The North Node's really showing where that heart, Leo, wants to evolve or progress into, but maybe that's confronting because there's a chance that you'll have to reconfigure your boundaries or open up to being vulnerable or question who you think you are. And that's hard enough on its own without the added probability that you may not even have a guarantee or any clarity around how or if this thing is going to work or progress. There is that call here to trust. And because the moon is at the apex of this yod, the trust that we're going to have is in the self, first and foremost. Take how that lands for you. Now, Juno in Capricorn here on the other side wants to be responsible and in charge. See, she's setting up some rules. This is the Queen of Heaven setting up a game plan. She's got KPIs, she's got benchmarks. Perhaps that may feel constricting and uncomfortable, like trying to fit the unknowable into a material scheme which somehow involves putting your heart and vulnerability on the line. This isn't a comfortable process here. Juno, by the way, is going to retrograde through Capricorn this year, which I covered in my latest forecast on Patreon. So there's going to be an examination of who and what you are willing to commit to, who and what you're willing to work for or put the work and effort in for. So whatever partnerships or contracts, agreements, arrangements that you have are likely to be undergoing some strain here and now in regards to what you really want and what you're willing to give. This is your needs, your desires, your goals that may be requiring a shift or a creation of new boundaries and agreement outlines here. And that could be causing discomfort as well. Now, positively, this yod can really express as the creation, Leo, and the commitment, Juno, to yourself and your dreams and evolving path with the North Node in Pisces in both a structured and an inspired way. So that's the Leo full moon. Again, it's on Monday, the 2nd of February, 9:09 Eastern Daylight Time. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. It would really help me out if you clicked the like and subscribe buttons to help out my astrology channel and ensure that I'm supported enough to continue making these forecast videos. And also, if you think anyone else would like or benefit from listening to my forecast, please do share my work with others, because my aim is to help as many people as possible with the absolute stupendous awesomeness of astrology. Remember, I do also have a Patreon, Substack, and Instagram. All my links are in the YouTube blurb thing. And if you do want that extended reading for this full moon, you can purchase it over on my Patreon for $11 or join as a member for $22 a month. So, apart from that, enjoy the passionate Leo full moon, tap into your creative side and have some fun if you are able. Thank you so much for being here till the end. I truly appreciate the time and energy that you take to listen to my astrology work, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Ciao for now.